Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I am here with my series I want to finish in 2018 video. So if you saw my 2017 reading wrap-up and 2018 reading goals video, then you know that one of my tentative aspirations was to finally finish some of the series that I have started over the last few years. I will link that video down below if you didn't see it so you can kind of get a rundown on what I want to accomplish this year. And here it is, I am officially committing myself to a series finishing goal. Now, these are not all the series that I'm in the middle of, these are just the ones that I want to give myself some extra motivation to finish. I've got quite an ambitious TBR here, so let's get right into the books. The first series I really want to finish this year is the Birthright trilogy by Gabrielle Zevin. I own the entire trilogy and I only read the first book and I loved it. It's about this sort of AU mafia type thing where chocolate is illegal. It sounds really weird, but the first book was fantastic and I love the main character. So I'd like to actually finish out the trilogy this year. Next, I have the Graceling Realm series by Kristin Cashore. I only have the last book, Bitter Blue, left to read, and I really want to get to it soon. And this series is a very political fantasy trilogy, so I kind of want to read this last book before I start forgetting all of the intricacies of the plot. So, hoping to do that soon. Next, I have the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. Now, if you saw, I think it was my most recent wrap-up, I was not thrilled with the first book. But something happened near the end that gives me hope for the rest of the series, and this trilogy is so well loved here on BookTube that I'm hoping that the second and third book really kick it up a notch for me. Plus, if I find out it's not for me, I'd rather learn that sooner than later. Next book I have is the second in the archived duology, I guess you could call it, by Victoria Schwab. I read the first book and really enjoyed it, and this is another one where it took me a while to sort of get into the plot and to understand all the nuances of what was happening, and I'm starting to forget that, so I really want to finish this second book before I actually do forget it. The next series I really want to finish is the Immortals Quartet by Tamora Pierce, and I've only got the last book to read in this series, and honestly, I don't know why I haven't finished it. I was having a great time, so I would like to actually finish this one and follow it through. I also really want to finish the Lumitere Chronicles by Melina Marchetta. This is a classic YA fantasy trilogy, and I loved the first two books. Melina Marchetta she knows how to destroy you in every book, and maybe that's part of the reason why I haven't read this one yet, is because I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for it. But I'm hoping that I will be at some point in the year. Another trilogy I would like to finish this year is the Unearthly trilogy by Cynthia Hand. This is sort of outside of my normal realm of books I read. It's a paranormal urban fantasy, I guess, YA trilogy about angels. Which again, you know, not really my jam usually, but the first book was so good, and this has sort of gotten a reputation as being like a cult classic, I guess, for underrated trilogies. And this is another one where I'm starting to forget some of the things that happened in the first book, and I really would like to finish this one or at least read the second book so I can kind of refresh myself. I would also like to continue with the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy by Jenny Han. I've, again, only read the first book, but I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed it because I feel like I don't read a lot of contemporaries that really stand out. I mean, I don't read a lot of contemporaries in general, but I really love Jenny Han's writing style and I enjoyed the first book a lot. And I've kind of discovered that I really like reading contemporaries during the winter. I don't know if that's weird or not, but it sort of feels more exciting because a lot of them are set during the summer or the school year and just feel like very summer or fall kind of books. So to kind of read them at a different time of year, it's not quite like reading a fantasy novel, but sort of. I would also like to continue with the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams Chima. I read the first book and I did enjoy it. It was a much more, I don't want to say dense like it's a bad thing, but it was a heavier fantasy book, I guess high fantasy, more than I was anticipating, which I obviously love fantasy books, so I didn't mind. But I didn't continue right away, and again, you know, sort of starting to forget what happened. And there are 3 more books in this like main series before we get into like the sequel series, and I did really enjoy the first one, and I think that coming up there's going to be some plot developments that I really like, so I should just continue. The Theater Illuminata series by Lisa Manchev. I only have one book in this trilogy to go, and I loved the first book. It's like got this really interesting like Shakespeare and fairy tale blend, and I just loved it. The second book was kind of okay. It disappointed me a little bit. And then I heard some things, I read reviews for the third book and basically spoiled myself for it, which was my own fault. And I'm not as motivated to read it because I'm afraid of what that means is going to happen in this book. But I do still want to finish it. I don't just want to leave it on my shelf forever because I'm afraid to read what happens. So I actually want to read it this year. Another series I really want to finish in 2018 that I have been reading for what seems like a very long time is the Bloodline series by Richelle Mead. Now, I didn't read the Vampire Academy series because that storyline and characters didn't appeal to me as much as the Bloodlines one did, and I'm really enjoying it. I've read the first 5 books, but this is another case where I heard some bad reviews of this book, so I'm hoping by putting it on this list, I actually listen and do it. Next we have a trilogy that I honestly can't believe I haven't finished yet. I'm pretty disappointed in myself. That is the Winners trilogy by Marie Rutkovsky. This is, I think, another one like the Lumenterra Chronicles by Melina Marchetta, where these books can be so devastating that it's hard to make yourself go through that, you know, before you're ready. But I do want to finish it. I'm hoping I love the conclusion. I love these characters, and I'm scared. That's what it comes down to, is I'm scared about what's gonna happen in this book. And finally, the last series on my list is the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I read Shadow and Bone months ago. I don't remember how long ago it was, and I just thought it was okay. And I've sort of been trying to make myself read this series just so I can get to the Crooked Kingdoms, or the Six of Crows duology, which is not a great way to approach a series, admittedly. But I am hoping to enjoy this one more than the first one. For one thing, I haven't even met Nikolai yet, who is clearly just widely regarded as everybody's favorite character. So I do really want to like get to know some of those new characters and really finally understand what people are talking about. So again, hoping to at least continue with this one because I have forgotten so much from the first book. It's kind of ridiculous. I never used to have that problem with series. Like, I could pretty much just pick it up from whatever point I wanted to, you know, even if it had been a couple of years. But I don't know if it's because I'm reading a lot more books now, that's probably it, that I just don't retain it as much, or maybe it's because I didn't enjoy the first book that much, that it just didn't stick in my mind. So, hoping to continue. So those are all of the series that I specifically want to finish in 2018. I'm probably going to continue or start some other series during the year, but these are ones that I have, you know, had on my shelves for a while, or just ones that I really want to get back into, and I'm hoping that we can kind of encourage each other. I know there are several of us who are really wanting to finish series this year, so I'm hoping we can kind of cheer each other on. You guys should let me know which of these series I should prioritize, or if you are planning on finishing a series this year, let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!